Appreciate that. Thanks, Debbie. Start off with a little bit of business. This week at the church, we're having Vacation Bible School starting Monday night, going from 6 to 8:30, ages from 3 to 10. And so that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Yes, and Thursday. And so anyway, there's some flyers back there. If you know any youngsters that are interested, it's, as it says on here, it's the best week of the summer. So anyway, it's really good. Also, for those that maybe are interested, Sunday after church, we're going to be decorating for VBS. We'll be doing the platforms and stuff like that. So anybody that's interested, particularly helping me on the platform, let me know so that so we can count on you. And I think we're going to eat pizza, I believe, too. I just do what I'm told. Can you believe that? Okay. So anyway, got a question for you. Are you ready for a question? You ready? All right. Are you ready? Ready? Are you ready? Jacob, right? Yeah, Jacob. Before we get to that, I want to say welcome to Saturday Night Live. Saturday night is about recovery. Saturday night is about addressing whatever that's going on in your life that is messy. Anybody have any messy stuff? Raise your hand if you got any messy stuff. If you didn't raise your hand, you're the most messiest one in the room. Yeah, you got both hands, legs, feet, ears, nose, and what was that big thing sticking up there? Okay. Anyway, we want to help you. Yes, we want to help you to deal with the addiction, but real recovery is dealing with what caused the addiction, right? Would you agree with that? Yes. There's a reason why you do what you do, whether you realize it or not. Would you agree with that? Shall I say that again? There's a reason why you do what you do, or you've done, or you say that you're not doing, but you're still doing anyway. But there's a reason why you're doing that, and there's underlying stuff. It either can be you're consciously aware of it or you're unconsciously aware of it. Yes? And so recovery is dealing with that stuff inside, that hurt, that pain, that unconscious stuff that we want to help you to bring into your consciousness. Now, what happens when we do that is it feels worse as it's getting better. Do you understand that? So if you're looking for a pain-free ride, you've already tried that. How did that work out? And see, our human nature is to avoid pain and seek pleasure. And how's that worked out for you? Shall I ask that question again? Our human nature, our human makeup, of what's been given to us, and it's a survival mechanism, is to avoid pain and to seek pleasure. And how has that worked out for you? Yeah, okay. And so what we have to do is we have to be willing to address those areas in our life that you know. See, your who you really are is speaking to you. Would you agree with that? And most of the time you don't want to listen because you want to do what you want to do instead of what you know you should do. Am I telling the truth? Okay, and so question. This is a question. Are you ready? You thought I forgot, but I didn't. I'm coming back to it. The question is, are thoughts energy? Okay, so they're energy. Now, next question. Are you ready, or do we need to review that question? So are thoughts energy? Okay, all right. So we're all good with that, right? Thoughts are energy. Now the question is, are there different energy levels in thoughts? Are there high energy thoughts and low energy thoughts, right? And what energy level are you thinking? You know, they say we have between 40 and 70,000 thoughts a day. Are they high energy thoughts or low energy thoughts? Do what? Kim says high for her. Do what? It depends on the moment. It does depend on the moment. Yeah, well, just think about it for a second. You know, we've been talking about the vibrational Hertz vibrational scale. We've got a flyer back here that we've started on that. We've touched it a few times, but you guys are not quite ready for it yet. So I've been working on you. Well, some of you are more ready than others, but and the fact of it is that, you know, we have a lot of thoughts. Here you go. Got another question for you. Are all your thoughts that you think your thoughts? Really? We have one correct response and we have one incorrect, and you know, of course, there's only two responses: yes or no. You guys are fun, you know that. Hey, are all of your thoughts your thoughts? Have you ever thought such a crazy thought like, you know, I ought to just run off this cliff? Amen. Have you ever thought that thought? Was that your thought? It was your thought? Okay. It is if you accepted it. Yeah. So there's a valid reason why there's not a valid reason why you thought that way then. Mm-hmm. Is it? If you accept it.
I was going to say, for me, when I struggled with thoughts, it was, they were influenced by other people's thoughts.
Okay.
and a lot of the things that I heard were what other people had said to me. And so those thoughts,
That's,
things that were running through my mind.
it can be through influence. It can be through experiences. It can be through situations. It can be through pain. It can be through loss of hope. There's a lot of things that can go on, but the fact of it is it possible that this destructive thought wasn't really created by you? It came from some lower vibrational source, which the Scripture calls that Satan. Would you agree? Would you buy that one? You know, now, I don't believe Satan can read your mind, but he can apply pressure on you. Would you agree with that? Anybody ever felt pressure before? Everything pounding on you? You know, things go to whirling. You know, there's a lot of us that we see chaotic tornadoes, and we just think we got to jump in them. I'm not going to ask a question there, okay? I'm just making a statement. If you're the kind of person that has to jump into every chaotic tornado, wonder what's driving that thought. Sure, I understand. There are, number one, only 5% of our choices, according to neuroscience, is being actual conscious choices. 95% is coming from that unconscious or some of those forces that we're not even thinking about. We're just responding to it.
But I know when I went through depression with that,
Mm-hmm. And some of that, you want me to respond to that? Are you sure? Okay, all right. Was that a yes or no? Do what? I know I got the mic, but I'm looking for permission because see, the statement is challenging, and the fact of it is because very possibly, okay, that you learned a survival mechanism, a system to try to survive in your life, and that was to emotionally block out and be numb and function in a mechanical way, robotic. And in doing that, you learned a way to survive, and you did survive. But the fact of it is, if you stay in that survival mechanism, then you are not going to thrive because you are disconnected and shut down. Okay, so, and the rest of the story is, even though it was a survival mechanism, how can I say this? It's you made those choices, okay, to survive, which you needed to survive, but so you're in control of that. So you put yourself in prison, only you can take you out. Okay, I didn't say the way I wanted to say it, but I think I got the message across. How about that? All right? Because, see, I'm trying to be real careful, because if you all right, the scripture says the letter kills, okay? But it's the spirit, the letter, okay? The word, the truth, all that can kill, okay? But it's the spirit that brings life, all right? So what I tried to do was share the life with you, the truth, in a life-giving way. The other way would have said, I don't even want to say it, okay? But you won't know what I'm talking about if I don't probably say it. But if I had said, it's your own fault you live that way, okay? Because you bought into that frame, okay? Very similar, and I try not to make that type statement, because then you feel like I'm rejecting you, but I'm not rejecting you. I'm trying to accept you to help you to move along. But it's kind of like a balancing. In fact, we talked a little bit about that Thursday in Thursday's class. So that's what's going on there, and I'm way up. I agree with that, except it still happens from time to time. There you go. Well, there you go. You catch it, but it still happens. And the more you catch it, the less apt it's going to able to take control. Because, see, when it takes control, it automatically switches off other parts of your brain. This is a what? We are always recording information, even when we're in utero, okay, before we're born, okay, so they say, okay, because there's neuroactivity that starts very early, and so we are recording. The younger we are, the less filters we have. We're just recording. Okay, and so what we do is we say, well, whatever I record, it must be the way it is, because that's the way the gods say, which are those that are older than me, parents or whomever. And so yes, we are developed and scripted and informed by our environment and by our genetics and all of that in our life, and a lot of our personality stuff or traits are established very early, because our cognitive ability to choose and to think comes in. It depends. Sometimes girls oftentimes a little earlier than boys, but around 13 or so, 12, 13, maybe a little older. If they're involved in smoking dope, it's less or never. And just as a little bit of a joke there, never. And for those that for those, and and the rest of the story is, we're not cognitive developed if we're allowed to let our development take place until in our 30s, even into our guy, sometimes 35. And then maybe even later. Zach raised his hand. You may.
So, your comment about we put ourselves in prison,
Yes.
and there's a disconnect there because the old me would argue
Yes.
because
He surely would.
I didn't ask to be abused.
That's true.
Okay, so and that act that hit my life,
Can we stop right here? This right there is an example of what I was trying to say. That I was trying to thread that thread through this eye of the needle and I evidently didn't do it very successfully in this regard right here. But that's just an example. Does that make sense? All right, because you have to do that. Now, some people say, well, just tell the truth and let it fall where it falls. Well, the letter kills, but it's the spirit that brings life. And I prefer to give as much life as possible. Does that make sense? All right. Even though I've been accused of not sharing the truth. Yes. Yeah. Oh, and I've been called that I've got demons and everything else, but, that's beside the point. Go ahead. I may have. I'm kind of crazy. But don't mess with me. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I didn't ask for those things to happen to me. That invaded my life, fragmented me.
Yes, absolutely.
So because we don't understand what's happening to us, our brain never stops trying to solve the problem.
Absolutely.
Okay, so your brain will even fill in what you can't remember.
Say that again, because that is so very true.
Your brain will even fill in what you can't remember, because your brain is going to try to solve the problem.
Your brain is designed to try to make connections, and it will create stuff to fill in those voids.
So here's the reality of the situation. Because I spent a lot of my life blaming other people for what they did or did not, what they did to me, what they didn't do for me. Okay? So, like my mother didn't give me the love that I deserved or needed as a child because she didn't have it to give, but I really didn't care. Okay? Or I didn't ask to be abused, and now I've got all this stuff in my life that I have to deal with. Okay?
When he says he didn't care, that's that you could misunderstand what he meant by that he didn't care. Okay, and right, Zach, and yes, you did care, and now you recognize that that's the way it was, and you have to accept reality the way that it was or is.
For a long time.
Yes.
So here's my point.
All right. You're as bad as I am.
Here's the point. So when I was abused, it fragmented me as a person. And the reason why that happens is because we think that they damage us. Because that's how it feels and that's how we see it. But the truth is we lock that piece of us away that we don't know what to do with. We don't know how to deal with it. We don't know how to help it. We lock that away. We bury it. It's not a part of us, so we can survive. Okay, so we didn't do it to ourselves. It happened to us.
Yes.
But we are the ones who put that piece of us away. Not on purpose, because we're just trying to cope. We're just trying to deal.
Survival mechanism.
Okay? You try to tell somebody that you're abused, no one listens, and you're stuck. What do? You have to survive. Okay? You don't just get to curl up and just rock in the corner. It's not reality. Okay? So we survive. So we spend many, many years of our life blaming somebody else for destroying that part of ourselves. And recovery, part of recovery is finding those pieces of ourselves where sit there and plan it out. It happens. We put those pieces of ourselves away until we get healthy enough to bring them back into the whole, and then they become part of our story.
But isn't that what we're talking about, subconscious doing that, and,
Yeah, I
we
mean,
don't realize it's behaviors that we have, because anger is definitely, so it's behaviors or.
right. You have a lot of symptoms. You have a lot of symptoms about what happened. You know, you're triggered, this comes out. Okay? You know, don't say this to me, or you're gonna see my anger. You know, so, but just because we bury it, don't mean we're not triggered by it. Okay? But the easiest way to open the prison door, because Doug didn't say this, but the truth is that the door ain't locked.
It's true.